Hi folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, there's so much that I want to talk about this week, but I think I'm going to start telling you about what fishing there still is or could be. And most people put their boats up, most of the docks are up, but I was talking to my friend Mike Bean down at Latham's Auto in Ogdensburg, and Mike told me, he said, Brad Paradis and his father are still out fishing smallmouths. And he said, oh my gosh, they are really doing well, but how are they doing this? I'm thinking, the water's so cold. He said, well, they're catching their bass between 30 and 50 feet down on blade baits. Now, I've told you before about blade baits. They're all metal and they're shaped like a fish. They have 3 different holes at the top of them to determine, number one, how they're going to vibrate, but also how they're going to ride up and down. But here's the point. The way that Brad is fishing this is straight up and down. And I think what you ought to think about, if you do go out and fish for northern pike and walleyes, is still going to be open. Bass season in our area closes the end of November. In other words, the 1st of December, it's not legal to catch bass. Now it's catching, in the rest of New York State, it's catching release bass through this period until next June when the season opens again up here. But we don't have that. But it's interesting to know that the smallmouth we're still hitting, but you have to fish them almost in the way that you would ice fish. And that, I think, is a secret right now. And I've said it in a show before that lateral presentation, moving the bait across the water area, doesn't really work because those fish don't have the energy to chase it. They're not going to do it now. And so a vertical presentation is wonderful. And, using a blade bait like this, my buddy Jigger Jim, who fishes, he ice fishes all winter long. It's his favorite way to fish. He jigs, and he uses a blade bait, and he catches crappies and other panfish, and he catches northern pike doing this in the winter. Jim is not one to use live bait, but my point, I guess, to all this is there's still been some good fishing out in the St. Lawrence River if you can get out to where those fish are. And remember, every single day, basically, unless we have heat waves, the water temperature starts getting a little colder. Those fish get colder and they move less, they feed less often, but it still could be a great time to fish if you can do it the right way. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.